Imagine a world where a computer could produce a movie scene just as accurately and creatively as a human. Imagine AI generating beautiful, realistic imagery with just a text prompt.
Look, I am not stupid, you know. They cannot make things like that yet.
Not yet. Not for about 40 years.
It's funny, just the other day I was talking to some friends and we were talking about AI and I was giving them my take on it, and I said soon we're going to get to a point where you can generate realistic video with special effects and the quality would be like a feature film, like stuff you would see in The Avengers. And you're going to be able to do this with a text prompt. And we're probably going to get there in about 5 years. And then OpenAI drops Sora. It wasn't really all that surprising because this has just become the norm for AI. This technology is moving at such a fast pace that it's almost impossible to keep up with it. You know, in cinema, AI has often been portrayed as the villain, the symbol of the apocalypse, an ominous force that threatens humanity. And now that the age of AI is upon us, it seems it's looking for a little payback. It's got its sights on the entertainment industry.
Fate, it seems, is not without a sense of irony.
So the question now that everybody's asking is, are any of us going to have jobs in the near future? A significant worry is that AI could replace human roles in the industry. And as AI algorithms become more advanced, they gain the capability to perform creative tasks, which traditionally only humans could do. But now it can write, it can create art, it can even compose music. But does this technology truly understand the art it creates? Is AI just a tool, or could it become a creator in its own right? In a world where artificial intelligence is so rapidly evolving, the question arises: will AI replace us when it comes to making art and telling stories? Art and story is a reflection of our human experience, our joys, our sorrows, and our dreams. It's an expression of ourselves that goes beyond algorithms and data. This is where AI falls short. It obviously lacks our lived experiences because, well, it's not alive. AI, as advanced as it may be, doesn't have the capacity to genuinely connect. And if it cannot, then how can it ever truly replace us in these creative fields? What makes art and storytelling so powerful is its ability to connect with people. It's that connection that really draws people to certain art, stories, and music. While AI can mimic forms and patterns, the essence of story and art goes deeper. If AI can't ever really know what it means to be human, how can it ever replace us in something that is so deeply rooted in the human experience? So because of this, I just don't think AI is going to replace people when it comes to art and storytelling, but it almost certainly is going to have a major impact on the industry, and some of that will be felt in the jobs market. Now, what exactly this impact will be, I don't know if anybody really knows for sure, but Jeffrey Katzenberg has made a prediction. He says 90% of the jobs in animation will be eliminated by AI. Now, that's certainly starting to sound like an apocalyptic scenario. Now, yes, saying that 90% of the jobs will be eliminated by AI is definitely very concerning, but let's look a little closer at what he said. Speaking for a moment on the good old days, Katzenberg said his world-class animated movies each required 500 artists working over the course of 5 years. In just 3 years from now, it won't take 10% of that, he said. Literally, I don't think it will take 10% of that. Well, if it only takes 10% of the people to make a movie, there's a couple different ways that could play out. So let's take a look at a little example. let's say we have a movie studio that has 100 employees and outputs one feature film per year. Now let's say it implements an AI pipeline. Now let's say you only need 10 employees to output one feature film per year. Well, you have basically two options at that point. You can continue to output one feature film per year and fire 90% of your employees, or you can keep all of your employees and output 10 feature films per year. Now, which one of these is likely to happen, I don't really know for sure. Now, to see which one of these scenarios might be most likely, we can turn to a report analyzing the VFX industry. According to this report, the global VFX market was valued at $28.8 billion in 2022 and is expected to reach a value of $65.45 billion by 2030. The global market is anticipated to grow at a compound annual growth rate of 10.8% over the forecast. So according to this report, it seems like the studio in our last example would most likely want to retain employees in order to increase output and meet the demand of a growing industry. Now, another potential outcome is if a small group of people can do what used to take a massive studio to do, those people might just go and start their own studio. What you might end up seeing is these jobs don't get eliminated, but they just kind of move around a bit. Now, there's obviously tons of other factors that are going to come into play here that could impact all this, but there is one other trend in the VFX industry that I want to take a look at. One of the growing concerns in the animation industry is that artists feel overworked. There have been several stories in the past about the concerns of artists and the unsustainable working conditions they find themselves in. Without mincing words, the article and those interviewed in it make the claim that the VFX industry is on the verge of breaking down. They also agree that even more tragically, individuals' lives are already breaking down. Workers are missing major family milestones, sleeping in their offices, and sacrificing their weekends to save their jobs. Something needs to change, argues the piece, if the industry is going to keep making films of the quality and quantity that audiences expect. So we've got an industry that is projected to grow 10% year over year over year over year, but the artists in that industry are already overworked, and the industry as a whole is, quote, on the verge of breaking down. Now, given that AI can greatly increase the productivity of the workers who are already overworked, is it possible that rather than being the apocalypse that everyone thinks, it could be the savior of the VFX industry? This is just what I think. There's a lot of doom and gloom out there. There's a lot of negativity, and I'm not trying to say I know what's going to happen. I'm not trying to prove that my rosy scenario is the way that this is all going to play out. I don't really know. I could be 100% wrong. The point of this is just to maybe put an alternate viewpoint out there in a different perspective to counter all the doom and gloom scenarios that I've seen. But, like I said, I could be completely wrong. But if you like this video, well, share it with your friends. Maybe somebody in the VFX industry could use a little cheering up. And hit that like button. And better yet, subscribe to the channel and then hit that notification bell so that you won't miss any future videos.
Say goodbye to the old. Welcome to